Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to a new tale for the channel, SteamWorld Quest, Hand of Gilgamech. A game that came out, I think, like 1 or 2 days ago by Imageform. You may be familiar with their other work with SteamWorld Dig 1, 2, and SteamWorld Heist. And it's the most recent game in the series, and in my opinion, my favorite. And so, let's not waste any time and start getting into it. And we're going to be playing on Night Medium difficulty.
Time to get ready for bed, son.
Oh, Dad, tell me a story first, please.
Oh? You want to hear another tall tale from the high seas, do you?
No, not another pirate story. I want to hear about dragons and knights in shining armor.
Dragons, you say? Well, then we have to go way back to the age of heroes.
When our world was still young and innocent, the gods grew born and forged a heart of evil and placed it in the chest of a behemoth. A true hero was called upon, and by his hand the corrupted heart of the monster was torn out and buried where it could do no harm. Over the years, his heroic deeds fell into obscurity. Instead, heroes of fortune spread across the land like a shadow. But there was still light to be found. Our story begins with 2 such lights. 2 friends strolling through the forest in search of a mushroom. Chapter 1. The Knight and the Alchemist.
As if sent on a mission by the ancient gods, our heroes cut their way through Greenfinger's Grove. The smell of hazard and fungus hit them as they searched for the fabled peppermint puffer. Will you stop narrating everything? Chapter 3 in the Hero's Handbook clearly points out the importance of visualizing. Visualizing my foot? That fully illustrated book of yours is a pun-ridden cringe fest. Hey, don't diss the book! And by the way, when are we eating? We should have taken Galilio's up on that breakfast offer before we left. He didn't invite us for breakfast. He said he'd rather eat the slowly gathering dust in his basement before joining our mushroom hunt. And this mushroom we're hunting is important enough for you to literally pull me out of bed? You can't do real alchemy from the comfort of a bed. A few of the professors at the college actually tried that, but the rest of them shriveled up over their research at musty sun-forsaken labs. There was one professor, though, who really inspired me. She underlined the importance of actually going out in the world to deploy knowledge practically for the good of the many. Today's deployment is about finding the medicinal peppermint puffer. Not only is it anti-hypersensitive, hepatoprotective, and nephroprotective, it can also... you're setting me in the mood for stew. We're not making stew. Look, let's just get going. I know you get restless, so why don't you take the lead for a while? Alright, now we're in control of our two of our main protagonists in the game anyway, Armely and Copernicus. Many objects in the world, such as the mushroom patch ahead, can be interacted with. Move near the mushrooms and use the controls shown below to look at them. So you can see some items in the overworld will have a shininess to them. Just press A. Hey there! Hey, that was easy. Time enough to get these cooked up before the rooster crows. Unfortunately, these are common brushwood amanitas. We're after the peppermint puffer, remember? curses! Also, they're poisonous, so don't eat them. Double curses! And also, you'll see like patches of bramble, for example, or other obstacles in the world that you can approach them and press A to hit. Gah! More of those pompous poses from the village. Wait a minute. I knew the guild had some flimsy hangarounds, but you're practically rattling around in that bulky armor. Did you just call me scrawny? Whoa, easy now, I didn't say. This armor fits perfectly. There we go. Alright, how about we get into our first battle of the game? Battles are fought using punch cards. Each turn, you'll draw up to 6 cards. These cards represent abilities your heroes can use. You can choose up to 3 cards to play each turn. The cards will be lined up at the top of the screen. When you're happy with the cards you selected, press A to press the finish turn button, which is actually Y. You press A to play a card, or press B to take back cards. So, here's some of the cards, and let me explain what they do. Heroic Strike is a physical attack. For Armely. Bravado is Bravado will give Armely some extra health, or rather, give her back some health, and raise her attack by 1 stage. Book Bash is a physical attack for Copernicus, and Mana Barrier, basically, how do I explain it? Mana Barrier, rather, basically gives whoever you apply it to, some extra hit points. And so, one thing to point out, though, is attacks. So, for example, Heroic Stab says 13. It's not guaranteed to do 13, though. Technically, there is a damage range that you just can't see. Your heroes can play 3 kinds of cards: Strike, Upgrade, and Skill. Strike cards are just what they sound like: basic, uncomplicated attacks that deal damage to your enemies. Upgrade cards empower your heroes empower your heroes temporarily in some way. As your heroes use Strike or Upgrade cards, they build up Steam Pressure, or SP for short. That can be spent to play powerful skill cards. And so yeah, if you look at the top of the screen, we have 3 colored in gears. That means we can use an attack like Flame Wave, which also requires 3 gears. But if we didn't have 3 gears right there, we could use Heroic Strike to build up an extra one, and then we could use Flame Waves subsequently. So that's something important to keep in mind. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to do Book Bash. There we go. Let's talk about these enemies. They've been on screen for a while, but I haven't touched them yet, or talked about them. So, we have the first enemy of the game, Coglins. They have 52 health, 10 strength, 10 magic, and are weak to arcane, which is something that'll be relevant later. Their only attack is double stab, so they'll attack a character twice. Each strike or upgrade card generates 1 SP. Your heroes have a shared pool of SP. Skill cards are very versatile and powerful, but if you don't have enough SP, you can't play them at all. Manage your pool of SP wisely. Early on, you don't really need to worry about it that badly, but it's still something you kind of want to keep in mind. And so actually, I didn't go over those other attacks. Brave Buster is an even stronger physical attack for Armely. Fire Pillar is a fire elemental attack that hits 1 enemy 3 times. And Flame Wave, I believe it was called, is a fire elemental attack that hits all enemies on screen. Easy as mushroom pie. Pie. We've clearly stepped into Coglin turf here. Let's just try and get out in one piece, okay? You think there's more of them? Awesome! It's like herding a small tornado. One thing I will say, I love the dialogue in this game. I think it's my favorite of the entire SteamWorld franchise. Our heroes chanced upon a relic, a testament to the glorious battles of past, and some long-forgotten treasure. More likely Coglin loot, stolen from unwary travelers. The hero's handbook declares, after beating up ruffians fair and square, the champion deserves a proper reward. And so yeah, there's a bunch of chests in the overworld that you can find, and this one contains repair vials. Recovery items can be used to heal your heroes or cure status conditions. They are a good way of dealing with challenges that you can't solve with cards alone, but supplies are limited. You can find recovery items in chests by defeating enemies or by buying them from merchants. use recovery items outside of combat by going into items menu and then selecting recovery items. Your heroes are automatically revived and cured of negative status conditions at the end of each battle, so some items can be used this way. Use recovery items in battle by going to the battle menu and selecting recovery items. Recovery items used this way count as playing a card for the turn, so think carefully about the right time to use them. So let's go in here, we go to items, and we have repair vials. These recover 25% of a hero's maximum health. But anyway, let's keep on going. Oh shoot, more of those pint-sized troublemakers. Let's ambush them. The hero's handbook describes just what to do in a situation like this. There are 2 whole pages with diagrams on how to startle the Coglin. And we sneak up behind them strike first, and gain the upper hand. You must realize that regardless from which direction you come waving a sword at anyone, you will still startle them. Whoa, so you say the method works on anybody? The book is great! And so yeah, beware, foes will engage you if they see you. Gain an upper hand against them by pressing the indicated button when they are close enough to attempt to preempt the strike. This will cause your foes to begin the battle already wounded. But first we want to head to the left, because those of you with perceptive eye, you can see there's kind of a gap here. And we see a chest. This one containing a power bangle. You found an accessory item. Before it'll do you any good though, you must first open the pause menu and equip the accessory in the equipment menu. Select the character you wish to equip it to, and select the accessory slot to reveal a list of available items. So we'll do just that, go in equipment, and every character has a weapon slot and 2 accessory slots. The power bangle increases strength by 10% and magic by 10%. Even though Armely is obviously a swordswoman, she is not lost on her to boost her magic. She will benefit from that as well. But there we go. But before we move on, look at the bottom right screen. You see there's a question mark? This is basically an uncharted section of the chapter's map, and nearly every chapter has a hidden chest in it, and you just have to be perceptive enough to find it. Though some of them are a bit out of the ordinary, but I'll show you how to get them all, because this will be a 100% run where we'll get all chests in all chapters that have chests anyway. But let's get our preemptive strike, shall we? The hitbox on preemptive strike should be kind of awkward, I'll admit. Anyway, you can redraw cards in your hand up to 2 times each turn. Redrawing a card means that the selected card will be discarded and replaced by a new card from your deck. Discarded cards will eventually make their way back to your hand, so don't hesitate to use redraw often to get rid of unplayable cards. And remember, if you neither play nor redraw anything, your hand will not change. So, for example, we'll get rid of this book badge. We'll press X, and we get a new card. At this point, we can redraw twice per turn. And I think we got a decent enough hand going for us. We'll do a mana barrier on Armely, Bravado, and then, let's see here. We'll do a fire pillar? Sure. Will we? I'm kind of overthinking it. These early battles are pretty easy, so I really don't have to think that much about it. Even for the first boss of the game, I really don't have to think too much about it. I mean, don't worry, the game definitely gets more complicated later on, like a lot more complicated. But for now, it almost essentially boils down to a button masher. Not saying that in a bad way, but yeah. Okay, that should be good. And I guess it's just a little bit of housekeeping for battles against new... Okay, so, as it's an RPG, obviously there's going to be a lot of battles, and that's obviously going to kind of take up a lot of time, so... For battles that don't have tutorials for them, and they don't introduce new enemies, then I'm going to skip them, basically. Just to make things easier on you all. Or, actually, I won't skip them if the enemy shows off a move that they haven't shown off before. I won't skip those, but otherwise I will skip them to help save on time. Okay, so... If you want to get 100%, you want to go up, but no matter what, you actually want to go down first. Look, Copernica! Even the Coglins have raised statues over Gilgamech, the true ancient hero. The majestic pose, the pride of a great deed oozing from every cut of the chisel. Ugh, those statues are literally everywhere. Of course they are! Gilgamech saved our kingdom from certain doom. He defeated a huge, snarling beast, tore out its evil hearts with its bare hand, and you can relive that very moment in your hero's coloring handbook. At least Coglins know how to appreciate the heroes of the past. Unlikely, they seem to be more into piles of garbage and lumber held together by yarn. These artfully majestic homages to the ancient hero serve as a good place to sit down for a while and get some rest. Approach the statue to save your progress. Interact with it to restore your hero's health. However, be aware that this will respawn all enemies nearby. So yeah, so if you're familiar with like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, or Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, it's basically like a bonfire. You come here to save or restore health, but enemies are going to respawn, so you want to keep that in mind if you're going to try to backtrack like I am doing right now. But let's get a preemptive strike. And there we go. So, normally this enemy has 130 health, but because we got the preemptive strike, it's now at 170. Or 117. Oh yeah, it actually increased health now. So, that's something you definitely want to, that's definitely a worthwhile tactic to keep in mind. Well, you kind of always want to go out of your way and do a preemptive strike. You kind of have no reason not to, because that's free damage. But obviously, you don't have to lose sleep either if you don't. But anyway, here we got a new enemy, and you're gonna love its name. Ogre A. Yeah, pretty creative. Anyway, it has 130 health, 11 strength, 11 magic, and it's weak to arcane. And one of its attacks that we already saw is overhead smash, and it's basically just a pretty strong physical attack. So we're gonna do Brave Buster, Book Bash, and there we go. But yeah, even enemy having this much health really isn't that much of a problem yet. And it looks like it's not going to show its other attack. So its other attack is Tenacity. When it uses Tenacity, it's going to raise its attack by, or rather raise its defense by 2 stages. So yeah, so upgrades like attack and defense, they have stages to them, and the stages are predetermined by the cards. So, Armely's Bravado will always raise her attack by 1 stage, no matter what. And you can't double down, so you can't use it again and then get 2. But anyway, we leveled up, and every time you level up, you gain some points in one of your stats. I'm not sure if it's random or not, but anyway, we got 5 extra health for both Copernicus and Armely. And we got our last chest, which is an Steel Bracer. And so Steel Bracers increase your health by 20%. We're going to give that to Copernica because she has less health relative to Armely. And there we go. That's 100% for this chapter. So we're going to save here. And if you're familiar with RPGs at all, you know that if there's a save spot, you're probably close to the boss. And yeah, it's just that the boss is right beyond this barrier. Wait, can it be? The Peppermint Puffer! It's even more majestic than I could imagine. Success smells like peppermint. It would be like eating breakfast, dessert, and brushing your teeth at the same time. We're not going to... You know what? Let's just grab it and get out of here. And so, grab this mushroom when you're ready for the boss fight. Just like the grinding gears of endless time, our heroes halted to catch their breath. With their peppermint perfumed prize in hand, they ready their swords. Hands off! This peppermint puffer will clean out the mold from the funnel in the old well. We're helping the entire village. You need to dry it in one whole piece to extract all... Whoa, did you hear that? I can't help it. This sweet and crisp scent makes me hungrier by the second. I don't think that was your belly. Oh, curses. Whoa! I know what you're going to say, but imagine how much stew we could... Eek! My mushrooms! Who dares steal Gumfoos's beautiful mushrooms? Easy there, Chief. We're just here to pick some of these unsuspecting innocent mushrooms. Ravagers! I'm not a Ravager, I'm an Alchemist. Gumfoos doesn't care. Gumfoos will teach you not to plunder nature. And we have our first boss fight for the game, Gumpus. Damage comes in 5 elements: Physical, Fire, Frost, Storm, and Arcane. A card's damage type is shown on the card. Some enemies have natural resistances or weaknesses to certain elements, and some cards can make or raise or lower... What was I trying to say there? Raise or lower elemental defense. Use the right element to maximize the damage you deal. So, Gumpus has 610 health. There we go. 610 health, 19 strength, and 15 magic. And as you guess from being a fungus, it has a massive weakness to fire. So we definitely want to capitalize that when the opportunity presents itself. And so, one of his attacks, Power Punch, is just a physical attack. Let's see. Oops. If one of your heroes falls to 0 health, that hero is scrapped. If all active heroes become scrapped, game over, man. Cards belonging to a scrapped hero become useless and waste space in your hand. Make sure to redraw those cards. Scrapped heroes are repaired after each fight, but health is otherwise not restored between fights. You can heal during battle using certain cards, but that can be tricky. Visit a hero statue or use a recovery item to restore health outside of combat. Let's see. Okay, mana barrier, Rogue Strike, and Fire Pillar. There we go. And so yeah, since we don't have that many cards yet, the strategy of this boss fight really isn't that much. It's like, basically attack and exploit its weakness, but it's not really that terrible if you can either, but there really shouldn't be a reason why you can. Anyway, status conditions. Some cards inflict status conditions. These are negative effects that linger on the target for several turns. For example, poison makes the victim take damage at the end of each turn. Fortunately, most conditions go away on their own after a few turns. You can review a list of all conditions from the compendium menu. And I can't show it just yet. Okay, here we go. We're going to put up a mana barrier on Copernica, and we're going to see what happens due to that. I know I'm being awkwardly vague, but it'll make sense. Anyway, let's do that and that. There we go. Now then, will you be kind to me and show you any of your other... Actually, no, we're still missing one attack, actually. We'll see if we summoned it. But as you can see, Copernica didn't take any actual hit point damage from that poison, and that's because Mana Barrier also can protect you from status element that do damage to you. So that's an important tactic to keep in mind. But now if you look below Gumpus, you see he has all three of his cogs are filled. And when all the cogs are filled for a boss, that means they're going to use a special attack that's reserved for then and only then. And so for Gumpus, he will use, let's see here, we can use Flame Wave and then First Strike. Okay, there we go. He's going to use Call Family. We'll Call Family, he's going to summon 2 Shroomlings. Shroomlings have 11 health, 2 strength, and 2 magic. They're also massively weak to fire, and just because we're probably never going to see it, they only have 1 attack, Pound, which is a pathetically weak physical attack. And that's Gumpus' last attack, Warcry. It will erase the attack for all enemies on screen, on his side rather, by one stage rather, for 3 turns. And really the other part of the strategy is, even though he summons minions, don't bother with them. They're so pathetically weak that honestly you're going to be wasting your time trying to defeat them. Like, they don't have much health or anything, but just because they're taking attacks that should be directed at Gumpus, and because of how pathetically weak the Shroomlings are, they're just not worth your time. Which I know is so mind-boggling, because like, as a huge RPG and JRPG fan for like years, you know, you're kind of in the mentality that like, you should focus on attacking the minions so that they don't get potshot damage on you. But yeah, they get potshot damage on you, but they'll do so little, it doesn't matter. But one thing to know, just in case, after we defeat Gumpus, the Shroomlings will still stay on the field, so you do have to defeat everyone on the field. It's not like defeat the boss and the minions just automatically go away. I mean, like I said, these things are like horribly, pathetically weak, so it's not like a critical thing to keep in mind, but still. No, we won't be able to build up enough. So I'm going to save up some steam. Just because I want to use Flame Wave to get rid of these Shringlings. Though I guess you'll have to actually have the opportunity to see them, their attack, and see just how pathetic they are. So yeah, you see 2 damage. You really don't need to worry about those things at all. But yeah, we've pretty much seen everything this boss has to offer. Okay, Flame Wave. Actually, yeah, Bravado should work. I'm going to do Mana Barrier just in case, though. And then Flame Wave Gunpulse. That's all of them. And yeah, just wrap it up there. So you see, very easy boss. The high health can be very daunting, because like 610, that's a huge leap. But as long as you have a good strategy in mind, you don't have to worry about it. And with that, we should level up again, and we get some more health. And some items. And a repair vial, actually. Cool. Ha! Didn't even break a sweat. I'll be accepted into the guild in no time. I let you tag along to the forest, and you turn it into a frickin' bike club? Hey, you wanted to experience nature hands-on, right? I say we stuff our bags full of mushroom and get back to the village. The things I do for learning. And yeah, there we go. That's 100% when it comes to the chest. After a refreshing stroll in the forest, our unsuspecting companions make their way home to the village of Goosebucket. All in good time for some healthy stew. But that will be a story for next time. So I will see you all then.